and President Trump crowing, drill, baby, drill. For more, let's bring in former Deputy National Security Advisor and Heritage Foundation Senior Fellow, Victoria Coates. Victoria, fantastic to see you. We can't control the flow of Russian oil so much. China has already picked up purchasing oil that India is not buying at the moment. But if history shows, time and again, oil was at 101 a barrel when Russia invaded both Afghanistan and when it annexed Crimea. When it left Afghanistan, because its economy was flat on its back, oil was trading below $18 a barrel. We have that power. Is that ultimately what does it?
Well, Dagan, great to be with you. Yes, and I think this is the key to President Trump's approach to this. Is he's approaching it from a position of strength. And you look at everything from the unleashing of American energy dominance, which is already happening in the first 6 months of his administration. We feel that in my home state of Pennsylvania, with the emphasis on upping the production of natural gas so that can go to Europe to offset those Russian imports. We're seeing the Indians start to pull back from buying Russian energy. And we know the Chinese drive a very hard bargain with the Russians in terms of their price. That's not going to be enough money to keep them going. So I think this is why the president is hopeful about getting Putin to the table, getting him to make a reasonable deal with Ukraine. And I think he's going to approach that, as I said, from a position of strength. And he may actually bring it home.
The president seemed to be able to gather all the European leaders that matter here in order to put a strong, unified face moving forward. What is NATO's role here? What do they need to do? And talk to us about boots on the ground, because for Americans, that's a problem. But for the Europeans, you know, this is a European issue.
It is, and I think rightly it's a problem for Americans. I mean, my grandfather was in World War II. He fought his way across Europe so that my son doesn't have to do that, and I don't think it's necessary in this case. But as you said, Jason, that group of people in the Oval Office yesterday was unprecedented, that in 40 hours, the President of the United States literally puts up the bat signal, and everybody shows up, from the head of the EU to the Prime Minister of the UK, President of Italy, Chancellor of Germany, President of France, and also, I think very tellingly, the President of Finland, as well as the NATO Secretary General, because if you think about it, Finland has the longest piece of the Eastern Front with Russia, between a direct border with NATO. And we've talked to him before, President Stubb, about what he's doing in terms of border security. I think what they're going to be talking about in terms of NATO help to Ukraine will be on eastern border security, so that whatever gets drawn on the east of that country is secure.
Victoria, it's great to see you.
Thank you.
Always. I can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you.
Victoria Coates.